July 16, 1945, Jornada del Muerto Desert, New Mexico. Before dawn, J. Robert Oppenheimer stood behind darkened goggles, his breath shallow in the cold desert air. Around him, physicists, soldiers, and technicians waited in a silence so complete it felt artificial, as if the world itself had paused. The countdown was not spoken aloud. Everyone already knew it by heart. At 5:30 a.m., the desert was replaced by light. Not brightness, not fire. Light pure, overwhelming, impossible. Oppenheimer later said the first thing that crossed his mind was a line from the Bhagavad Gita. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. But in that moment, no one spoke. Some laughed nervously. Others cried. One soldier dropped to his knees, convinced the sun had exploded by mistake. The Trinity Test was humanity's first encounter with nuclear fire. It was meant to answer a technical question. Would it work? Instead, it raised a human one. What have we just done? The shockwave hit seconds later, a physical punch that rolled across the desert. Windows shattered miles away. Men who had survived years of war instinctively ducked for cover. Several witnesses described the same thought in different words. This is not a weapon. This is something else. One scientist said it felt like standing at the edge of creation. Another quietly muttered, "The world will never be the same." No one disagreed. 3 weeks later, the world would learn what that meant. August 6, 1945, Hiroshima, Japan. 8:15 a.m. Shigeo Nomura was walking to work when the sky turned white. Not bright white, absolute white. A light so intense it erased shadows, buildings, even the horizon itself. Survivors would later struggle to describe it, reaching for metaphors that failed them. Some said it was like a magnesium flare inside their skull. Others said it felt as if their eyes had caught fire. Then came the heat. Nomura was thrown to the ground as the air itself ignited. Skin burned through clothing in seconds. People who looked toward the flash collapsed without sound. A schoolgirl later said she thought she had gone blind forever because the world had disappeared. From miles away, pilots watching from escort aircraft saw something no human had ever seen before. A towering column of smoke and flame, folding into itself, rising higher and higher until it punched into the sky. One airman whispered into his microphone, "My God, what have we done?" On the ground, those who could still speak asked the same questions over and over. What was that? Was it lightning? Is the sun falling? A doctor inside Hiroshima Red Cross Hospital survived the blast. When he stepped outside, he saw the city flattened into something unrecognizable, people wandering silently, skin hanging from their arms like cloth, hair burned away, eyes unfocused. He later said the most terrifying thing was not the injuries, but the quiet. No sirens, no planes, just wind and footsteps. That silence lasted seconds. Then the fires began. August 9th, 1945, Nagasaki. By now, rumors had spread. Some Japanese officials believed Hiroshima had been destroyed by a single bomb. Others refused to believe such a thing was possible. When the second flash appeared over Nagasaki, the truth became undeniable. A Catholic priest near Urakami Cathedral survived the blast. He described the explosion as a white cross of light, followed by a pressure so intense it felt like God himself had struck the earth. He crawled through ruins where a city had stood minutes earlier, asking aloud whether humanity had crossed a line it could never return from. Even American observers were shaken. General Leslie Groves, the military head of the Manhattan Project, admitted later that he felt no triumph, only a heavy certainty that the weapon would define every war to come. When Emperor Hirohito finally addressed the Japanese people days later, he did not name the bomb directly. He spoke instead of a new and most cruel weapon, one whose power threatened the very extinction of human civilization. Those who had seen the flash did not need further explanation. They had already found the words spoken in whispers, prayers, and disbelief when the sky burned brighter than the sun and answered a question humanity had never meant to ask, and once asked, could never unlearn.